It's 2011 and I'm still in the water. Sharks swarm, but I'm never swimming for shore. Let 'em come, let 'em come. I've sharpened my tongue. Not scared of the deep, ain't afraid to see blood. Others pulled off the road, headed for home. Sunk to the bottom, couldn't find a way to float low. Oxygen closing like a vice up on their throat. No one hears a scream that can't survive on what it wrote. But I'm still in the game. Castles on the board, crashing the door. Forged Greyhound Pass, now I'm back on tour. Strapped for war, merch in the bag, food packed back for more. Lying in my throat with a fire to feed. Explode out the bottle when the throttle release. Yeah, small man, sharp teeth. Much dirt undone and leagues to go before I sleep. Now, my pops say, when you gonna get rich and make it? Never. I ain't write the type of shit that makes you famous. But I get national press for protest arrests. I incite the type of shit that make you famous. My song is a deep sea alien that would explode in people's ears if payola ever brought it to the surface of a top 40 playlist. I ain't faking, it's worth more than they could ever fucking pay me. Not gangster, still the FBI hate me for being that rat who made it through the maze but never took the cheese when they gave it. It's amazing, I'm amazing. White trash ain't supposed to study wages. They want us poor, drunk, dumb, and making babies. Hooked on sports, god porn, keep it brain dead. But I made it out the matrix. Now it's class war till they put me in a fucking jail cell. I don't want to be in no jail cell.
So, where are you from? How'd you get started?
I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. I heard Chuck D's voice on Apocalypse 91 at the bus stop in 7th grade, and it was changed the way I looked at a lot of things. And from that point on, hip hop was kind of the coolest thing, or the most important voice, or one of the most important voices in my life. I was really young. A lot of people in my neighborhood had listened to hip hop before that, but it was mostly fucking, like 2 Live Crew, and Fat Boys and things that didn't have much substance to it. It was what it was, that music, but I only liked it because they liked it, and they only liked it because it was tough. Kind of grew up in a pretty grimy little white trash neighborhood, and so folks related with things that were tough. They liked that music because it was tough. I liked it because they liked it. But when I heard Chuck D's voice, I was just, that was a dude. He just sounded like somebody who made he made clear sense. Like, if you ever heard the term speaking truth to power, like when Chuck D speaks, it's the truth, and it's the truth. So I listened to other music, but for the most part, I didn't really want to hear much else besides hip hop for the next 5 years or so. I didn't try to rap, I didn't try to write, but Sage Francis took me to my first ever poetry reading when we were at the University of Rhode Island together. And I had started to keep scrapbooks at that point, maybe write down little notes, little ideas, drawings. But I never, I wasn't really an actualized writer. I wasn't really trying to write pieces or songs or stories or anything. But at that first reading, I heard people spilling their guts from all different backgrounds about all different types of social issues, about privilege, about class, about many things that I had heard about in songs, but hadn't really seen other people on my level or kicking or addressing in real time. And instead of having a feature that night, they had a workshop from an animal rights group on campus, and they really thoroughly broke down what a factory farm was, what happens on a corporate farm, what it does to the earth, to the water, to the soil, to the animals. And that kind of really sent me spinning. It was kind of like the opposite of a nervous breakdown. It was kind of like a nervous awakening. I couldn't believe that, something that evil and something that wrong was not only out there, but that it was the norm. I didn't understand how adults around me knew about it and no one told me, or how they didn't know. I didn't understand how something that inherently fucked up could be, the place where we got all our food from. And so that led me to seek out everything. I was like, I know that my mother would never steer me wrong. My mother's been getting our food from from these companies because nobody fucking knows. And if nobody knows about this, what the fuck else don't we know about? So that led me to researching and studying the military-industrial complex, banking system, everything. And all these things that Chuck D and KRS and all these folks had talked about for so long, and I'd just been listening to, and it spoke to me because it was conscious or on point or whatever. All of a sudden I was like, felt like I needed to get in the game and not just be a listener. And I do more organizing and more direct action off stage than I do writing or performing. I think it's got to be both. And if anything, being on stage is certainly the smaller or smallest part of direct action and organizing and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm part of an anti-imperialist group at home called the Rhode Island Mobilization Committee. We meet every Wednesday at Beneficent Church in Providence at 7 o'clock. We plan one major direct action every month in Rhode Island, and we boost and do whatever we can to spread the word about other groups in the area. So that's a good place to find me. I help to coach the Providence Youth National Poetry Slam team and run the performance poetry movement that comes out of AS220. So we're there on the first Thursday of every month. I'm online all day researching and booking shows. You can find my stuff at Facebook, Jared Paul PFA. And PFA is short for Prayers for Atheists. That's the name of my band, or the band that I play in. It's not my band. We're a part of the Strange Famous Records Collective, which is the record label that St. Francis puts out. So it's prayersforatheists.org, .net, or .com, or strangefamousrecords.com, strangefamousrecords.com/PFA. Truman was the only president to drop an atom bomb. He was a Democrat, not anti-war. That's a myth. Like the Bible, like the flood, was talked about 10,000 years before Christ. Wasn't there when Harry gave him hell, but he might have been when the soldiers aboard the boat that brought the bomb sunk and wound up in the mouths of sharks. That's a fact. Look it up. 200,000 civilians slaughtered without warning, all to save American lives. It was a lie. The media didn't question. Phony studies of U.S. casualties projected. The science of a military test. What happens when a weapon splits an atom's breath. A show of strength to be the first, armed with teeth to snap the world. And they got away with it. It was an island full of brown people, and we were a nation full of racists, just like now. If I send over a check, will it reach Tokyo Electric, make them report on cracks in cooling towers, or stop the U.S. from dumping waste in Yucca Mountain? No fuel that could leave the earth in ruins will ever be safe for human use. I can't take back their greed or send money I don't have, but the least I can do is speak to the truth and let y'all know I'm with the people too, not the state, your government or mine. The whole system gotta go, or it's only a matter of time. Thank you.